Bitch, I ain't even got 2 minutes. Don't know what to do with it. Cool with it. Who did it? That's me. Acting like I ain't your fucking favorite MC. Icy ×3 when I fucked up, drunked up, hitting that tree by the police. Homies know me. Oh, we go back like an OG in a 4D. I'm thinking that time ain't for nothing. They wanna hate, well, keep it coming. I'm putting my talents for something. I'm putting it down, keep it running. I bring it on back like that with an 8-track and a 6-pack and a sack of that green. Look me in the face anytime, any place. I'ma lift my eyebrow. What the fuck do you mean? Hey, don't give a fuck what you say, cause I'm building reputation in a major fucking way. And I do this shit cause I live this shit, and I breathe this shit, and I be this bitch. I'ma try hard, bitch. I'ma try hard. I'ma try hard, bitch. I'ma try hard. I'ma try hard, bitch. I'ma try hard. Look me in the face anytime, any place, and you know I'm a fucking superstar. Bitch, I ain't even got 2 minutes. Don't know what to do with it. Cool with it. Who did it? That's me. Acting like I ain't your fucking favorite MC. Icy ×3 when I fucked up, drunked up, hitting that tree by the police. Homies know me. Oh, we go back like an OG in a 4D. I'm thinking that time ain't for nothing. They wanna hate, well, keep it coming. I'm putting my talents for something. I'm putting it down, keep it running. I bring it on back like that with an 8-track and a 6-pack and a sack of that green. Look me in the face anytime, any place. I'ma lift my eyebrow. What the fuck do you mean? Hey, don't give a fuck what you say, cause I'm building reputation in a major fucking way. And I do this shit cause I live this shit, and I breathe this shit, and I be this bitch. I'ma try hard, bitch. I'ma try hard. I'ma try hard, bitch. I'ma try hard. I'ma try hard, bitch. I'ma try hard. Look me in the face anytime, any place, and you know I'm a fucking superstar.
Hey!
How we doing, everybody?
What up, everyone?
Beautiful people.
Everyone's so beautiful.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
How you doing, Modest K?
I'm doing okay. It was a good day.
Today was a good day.
It was a great day.
It was an interesting day.
Yes.
We celebrated with a little drive-by birthday party. People drove by for our daughter who turned 2 yesterday.
Yep, little Dylan Ray.
What up, Tyler Baxter? Good to see you, man. I appreciate you being in here supporting. That intro song was Gunner B. Try Hard. You can find that on the YouTube from Nice Enough Entertainment. Real easy to find. Yep. Shout out to everyone that's been subscribing that. We are up to like 191 subscribers, and it's been 3 weeks. So
it's crazy, you guys.
Yeah, we're excited about that. Plus, we're almost at 10,000 on the Facebook page. Not that all those numbers and shit matter,
right.
But when this is the major platform that we have these days, I guess it kind of does.
It does. Facts.
How the fuck's everybody doing, though? Say hello. Tell us about your weekend. Come up with some fan questions for Austin. That dude's been around a long time.
He has.
He's a legend. Before I even thought about smelling booking the show, that guy was like putting people in the building.
Oh, yeah, facts.
So I'm a little bit nervous.
Yeah?
Yeah, just a little smidge. The guy knows a lot, and every conversation that I have with him is valuable, and I learned something. He's somebody that has been very cool to me and very generous with his time since I started doing this. Yeah. So, and we actually just started talking about doing shows together. We did one together in December finally. It was Nice Enough Entertainment and Third String Midwest present Cypher Night.
Yes, Cypher Night.
Which was real exciting, man. We did that. It was a super inclusive event where pretty much anybody can come and hop on the stage. Yet we spotlighted really dope artists like Nice Enough Artists, and we had Skyrie and Yada Man there as the headliners.
Yeah, that was super awesome.
So that was exciting. But yeah, we sold out of our Nice AF packs. We still
did.
do have the super nice packs that come with the tank top, the hat, and the fanny pack, and you'll be able to pick them up like probably maybe by Friday or like Monday.
That's super exciting.
It's gonna be like within a week. So like if
Hit
you
us
want
up.
one of those, hit me up. What up, Eric? What's going on, man? I'm excited to have you on the show too, bro. That'll be fun. But yeah, we go ahead.
I was gonna say, don't forget about our awesome little art group, creative people doing creative things. Good place to spread art and spread love, and be interactive. Don't just spam music, but like, it's go and appreciate. And
I see a lot of people doing a lot of dope shit.
yes, there's so many.
People are
cool things.
adjusting, and it's really fucking cool.
Yeah, definitely.
We got friends that are way different than us. They have more of like a party format going on. Thuggy Yuck and Peso.
Oh,
They do like a review show. I actually sent in a track tonight, but we meant to call them the other day and to do like a little cross promo thing. Let's try to call Thuggy real quick.
okay.
And see if we can get those boys at the Yuck conference. We don't know if they're gonna answer. They keep like 100 people in their room on some wild shit. So
Yeah, let's see. Let's just see here. I think this is the one.
yep, that's the one. We didn't really tell them we're calling though, so we'll see if this works. Ding dong. This is a thing we're gonna do. We're just gonna like randomly call people. I think at the beginning of our shows. What up, Leia? Hey,
Hey.
what the
My guy.
what the fuck is
Yo.
up?
Hey, yo.
What's up?
My viewers that have just now tapped in, man. I'm live right now, Skyped up with my man Justin Strawstone from Nice Enough Entertainment, man. We both coming straight out of Omaha, Nebraska.
What the
We're
fuck
both
is
doing
good?
our podcast right now. So if you will, go ahead and give his Nice Enough, you know what I'm saying? Give him a like, give him a share, look up to Strawstone.
Hey.
Strawstone Talk, go ahead and give a little bit of information. What up, Strawstone? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. I keep popping into your guys' show. You guys are fucking hilarious, and you're bringing dope content, man. I fuck with it. Like,
Yeah, man.
I-
Hey,
I-
we show no mercy.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's either you got it or you don't.
for
Like,
sure, man. Keep being honest with folks, man. And I mean, I've seen someone's like, "What, are y'all in a bad mood today?" No, just rap better. God damn it, like,
yeah.
and
I promise. That's all you gotta do is rap better. Like we just had a song that just played all the way through.
there
It
you
was
go.
Geronimo by Charlie Parker.
Hey,
So for your viewers, if they're interested in that, it was a very good song. You know what I'm saying? Go
Charlie
ahead and
Parker,
rock it.
Geronimo, go look that shit up. See, we can show love. We ain't just a bunch of haters.
Facts.
Yeah,
Most
for
definitely.
real, definitely.
But hey man, we got an interview with show promoter Austin Gaule tonight. I just wanted to stop in. I think I'm gonna be checking in with you guys more, man. You guys are like nice
Sure,
enough, like wild cousins or some shit, man. Like fucking. And
I already know, man.
you guys have not called me to bail you out in a while, so fucking let's just keep it rocking, man. We got this.
Oh yeah.
You already know.
Stay out of trouble, man. Shout out Star Talk, y'all.
Hey,
All
we'll
right,
talk to you
peace
soon,
out.
bro. Later.
Yes, sir. Stay up.
Yep.
Hey, so the next skip line.
Hey.
All right, that was
So that was the Yuck conference with Thuggy Yuck and Peso. Those boys are wild as fuck. When you get a chance, if you see them going live, get on there. Send them some music. Let them review your shit. They're funny. They're actually trying to promote music. When they're being dicks, I hate to say it's an act, but it's entertaining. So,
Right.
What up, Mike Fantastic? What up, Troy Hellhouse? Jose, welcome to Straw Talk. Thanks for
Hey,
being here.
welcome to StrawTalk After
What is
Dark.
this? What episode is this, Kayla?
27,
Episode 27.
I believe. Yeah.
So go check out some other episodes because, obviously
so
there's
many.
some content there.
Oh my goodness. I have a joke.
Adnan.
I have a joke.
Oh, Modest K's joke of the day.
I got a joke. All right. This one's not that great. Believe it or not.
I'm excited now.
Why did the Scarecrow win an award?
Why did the Scarecrow win an award, Kayla?
Because he was outstanding in his field.
Hey.
Hey.
See, we just was like, I think that one's good.
That was good.
Timmy Tim, what up, bruh? So Austin Gaule, should we just get him on here? Let's show.
Wait, we gotta show the video first.
So let's talk about him just a little bit. His little lead in, this is what I'll tell you about Austin. He's been a promoter a long time. He runs Third String Midwest, which is a part of Third String, which is all over the place. He runs emo nights all over the place.
Yeah.
He connects people. You can catch him putting on all sorts of shows, whether it's at the waiting room, whether it's at Lookout. Yeah, I fucking like Austin a lot. He does a lot of good work. The people around him, that's how you can tell if somebody like that's been around a while, if they're like, you know, true blue.
Yeah.
Check and see if like the people that were working with him 5 years ago still love him. Right. You know what I mean? And he's got some loyal, awesome, talented, wonderful people around him. So, yeah.
For sure.
Let's
watch this video from.
Let's give you a little example of emo night.
This is an emo night video.
Hell yeah. All right. Let's go ahead.
Hey, that was awesome.
That was awesome. Let's go ahead and give him a call.
All right, let's call him.
Yo.
Hello.
Austin.
Hey.
How
What's
you
up,
doing?
family?
What's up?
Dude, I'm just watching this video that you guys are running from Emo Night, and I totally just realized like how old that video was. I should have sent you something newer.
No.
We all look like I look like 15 pounds lighter in that video, so maybe that's like a good thing.
Man, just blame it on COVID. It's fine.
Dude, yeah, dude, for real.
Fuck it. So, let's go ahead and, since a lot of my crowd is, like, comes from the hip hop side and you know comes from like, I don't want to call them regular shows, but what you guys do at Emo Night seems to be like a totally different vibe. You just want to tell like if somebody had never been to an Emo Night, tell us what you're getting. Tell us what you do.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a pretty, it sounds exactly what it really is. I mean, it's just a night for like, it's a club night for like emo kids, you know. I think it's grown into like one of the hottest parties in the country for, you know, in terms of like club, you know, reoccurring club shows. But yeah, you know, it's just a night where, you know, a lot of people just get up on stage, act like, you know, they're the rock stars themselves, and we kind of just make a party out of it. It's kind of a night where you have a bunch of twists and turns. You have special guests, you know, coming out from, you know, from bands that we listened to, you know, all those years ago, and it's really a fun time, man. You never know what's going to happen at Emo Night. You never know what you're going to get every time you go. So it's kind of a reoccurring party that happens where you don't know what's going on.
I love that.
Awesome.
And obviously, the people that go to them like to come back. So you must be fucking doing something right. Like,
Yeah, man, the community's fucking crazy. I mean, I think one of like the biggest parallels I see between like what me and you do is like how loyal like communities are, you know, across the Midwest for hip hop and like emo and like indie music. It used to be like that when I was a kid growing up in like the hardcore and like metalcore scenes, but it seems like some of that's like kind of fallen to the wayside, and like these two have like really emerged, you know, as of late. And it's really fun to like draw the, you know, the parallels between those two universes. And yeah, you're right, man. A lot of a lot of reoccurring customers, and that's really kind of a credit to how cool, you know, the kinds of people that come to these shows are. You know, they're really caring for one another. They have really big hearts, and they like to take care of each other. So it's it's kind of a community that like curates itself. You know what I mean? You don't really have to, be you don't really have to be a gatekeeper all that much because there's nothing really to gatekeep, which is really cool.
That word.
But I found a lot of a lot of cool ass people, across the Midwest that like to come to these kinds of events. And ages, I've made friends that are 21 years old. I've made friends that are like 35. The kinds of people that come to these events it's so all over the place, and it's so unique, but it's a lot of fun.
I love it, man, because one of the things when I first started promoting, it's like it's probably pretty easy to trick somebody one time with like a good flyer or a good concept or whatever, but you have to deliver, and that's where people like me and you come in. The obsessive, like really ambitious, like throw everything into it type. And I mean, I know when I'm running a show or when I'm putting a show together, I'm thinking about like everything to do with the fan experience and the support. I mean, keeping your artists happy and compensated and doing good business is crucial. That's close. But, man, people really notice when you give a fuck about their experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. And I think like as like you grow and like as like more success you come into, like it just gets better and better, like if you went to like one of our first emo nights, it was really just like a DJ board, like a backdrop of like visuals going, and like we had merch in the back, but now it's grown to like we have Bumble sponsoring, we have a second room full of like artists playing like original music. It's really evolved into something that's really worthwhile and really, I don't know, I mean, like the value adds that we just continue to kind of pile onto the night just really adds so much to the whole experience. I mean, and we're not really changing the price. We've always kept the price like $15, so it's like you're just we're accessing more connections. We're having more success in getting people to sign on to it because it's becoming more of like a place where people are like, holy shit, maybe we should like throw a couple of dollars at them so we can get our brand out in front of it.
Right.
But you still have like that huge local feel to it because every city has their own community, and it's crazy because we handle about, I think, 10 different markets across like the Midwest now. And all of these cities have like their own communities of like, 100, 150 people that consistently come out like every time. And it's just crazy. I mean, they're the ones that deserve more, you know what I mean? So it's really fun to be able to bring them like a really fun show where they just keep on wanting, coming back and bringing like more people with them. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. It's so fun when I get to meet like people's cousins or friends from work or things like that. Where it's like, hey, this is just, and sometimes I struggle with names, but I'm pretty good at like remembering quickly. But I'm sure you deal with that, especially with the different markets. It's like,
dude, it's bad. It's gotten so bad. I mean, I hope my mom's not watching, but I smoke too. So it's like, it's like, I can't remember shit like half the times at these parties. And I'm also drinking when I'm like at the party. So it's like, I meet somebody and I'm like 3 hours later, I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, so.
Right.
We got some fan questions.
Yeah. Let me catch up on a couple fan questions. Tyler Baxter said, how many proposals have you witnessed at emo nights?
Oh, Jesus, dude. I don't know. That's a really weird thing, actually. There's been a ton of proposals. As of this year alone, I think we had like a run of shows. Like we were pretty much off in January, but we were like out, I think, every weekend of February. And I think we had like 4 proposals in that like whole time period. It's just crazy. Like it's nuts. Like the people will stop probably like, yo, I'm going to propose to my girlfriend real quick. I'm just like, oh, okay, you want to get engaged at emo night? Okay, let's do it.
I love that, man. That's like, to me, like as someone who like loves seeing like creating a good time, if somebody wants to like to turn it into a life event, like fuck yeah, like all.
Dude, yeah, I'm with it.
Give you
yeah,
those
dude.
kudos.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. You really never know what's gonna happen at emo night. Some people keep fuck around and get engaged. It was really funny because it's not tied to like gender norms. We had a lady propose to her boyfriend in Des Moines. I think it was like the second week of February this year. So I thought that was like, I was like, this is so fucking awesome.
Shout out to Des Moines. We do really good shows there, and we miss our fucking Des Moines friends really bad.
Yeah, dude, Des Moines is this shit, man. Vaudeville Muse and fucking Woolies are 2 of my favorite places that I've been doing shows at, ever.
I'm good friends with the guy Eric from Lefties. We've done some good.
Yeah,
shows.
Lefties is. I've heard Lefties is super cool too.
We sold that out with Doobie in October, and we also just had a Mac Lethal show there right before things canceled that did really well too. Yeah. That was actually one of my favorite moments, like as running my company, because Finch was opening for Mac Lethal, and I had King ISO here in town. That's right. So I had to like jump off tour with Finch to run the King ISO show while he went to Des Moines. And he fucking ran it for me, and he was like the main like opener. So like it was just really cool to see like all the parts working, like in
those double duty nights, man.
Yeah, dude. Like total,
they are fucking wild.
Total, we had like over 500 people at both shows, which ain't a lot. I mean, I know you guys do big numbers, but for us,
I mean, no, guys, dude. For us independent promoters, man, getting 500 people out anytime is fucking fantastic. So that's great, man.
So we've talked about emo night already, but we didn't really. Why don't we just have you give like a little brief, like who is Austin Gaule? Like, how'd you get into promoting and like to get to this point? Don't feel like you have to go into every detail, but just so we have a better idea of who you are, because you are more than emo night.
Yeah. So I mean, I've been booking shows. I think for about, I counted it last night because I like have lost track, but I've been like loosely doing shows for like 13 years and been involved with like the music like community around Omaha and beyond for about 15 years, or probably about 15 or 16 years, somewhere around there. I started going to shows. I'm from Papillion, so like I was like a suburb kid. I grew up in the suburbs. I really didn't have a lot of access to the city when I was a kid. I was really just stuck on an island out in Papillion, so like there wasn't much to do besides play on our computer at home and like download music and run around our neighborhood doing stupid shit, whatever we could find, so music was a huge part of my life from the time I was a kid. My dad was always really super into music as well, so it kind of just like left a huge imprint on my life. And when I turned 16, I had to get a job because my parents bought me a car, and if I wanted to have my car, I had to pay insurance, and if I wanted to pay insurance, I had to have a job. That's how that works when you get old, right? So I got a job, and I knew this kid that was like kind of booking shows at this place out by the Rock in Papillion, which is like this old ass venue that used to have. I don't know if you ever heard of it or not, but it's really cool ass place. It was like the vibe for hardcore shows and like metalcore shows and metal shows. And I grew up like super close there, so I was always going there. I saw it like through all of its changes, all the different promoters and owners that went through there. And I finally like struck up like a friendship with Brad Streeter, who was like who was a promoter here for a really long time. I have no idea what he does now. I think he got into some shit. I don't think he books shows anymore, but he was a big mentor for me. He would like let me into shows for free, and like I got to see like behind the scenes. I was like, yo, I could fucking do this. This is easy as hell. So when I turned 16, like I had that like disposable income from like my job, like because I didn't really have a lot to pay for. I mean, the economy was like not in the crapper back then, and I like didn't have like a shit ton of bills. I was 16. I had a bunch of money I didn't know what to fucking do with. I waited tables at expensive ass restaurants, so I like always had like all this money just floating around for whatever reason. So I started booking shows. Like my friend Justin was like doing stuff at this new spot behind the Rock. It was called Tio Garcia's, and he was doing basically like floor shows, like DIY style, like VFW hall. It was real. The vibe was real fucking weird. But like we made that place our own. He eventually like stopped and moved to Kansas City, and I kind of like took over this little like company that he had. And I was like, okay, I can fucking do this. This isn't that hard. I know exactly. I know how to count $200 out of like a gross deal and give it to a band, Right. So I started doing that for a really long time. And if I was just hemorrhaging cash, like bringing my favorite bands to town, because I was obsessed with like hardcore and like metal music back in the day. So I kind of like ran myself into the ground for a long time, booking all of like my favorite bands and not making any money off it, because if there's one thing as a promoter, you never make money on the stuff that you love the most. So
when you do, it's like magical as fuck.
Yeah, it's like the best night of your life. It's like, hey, let's do like 60 shots and get trashed now with the band, like just to celebrate. So I've had many of those nights, but like I started doing that, I started learning, and I quit for a while. I joined this band, and then I got kicked out like after like my freshman year of college, and I was like, I have to stay involved in the music scene somehow.
I'm stopping you. What instrument? What band?
Oh, we were some of the people on this stream probably recognize who they are, but I was a part of Superior for a long time.
Okay.
They were this metal band from Omaha that was like had some like regional clout. They were pretty big here locally for a while, but I was like, we started that band and we did like dual vocals for like a long time. It was an interesting ride. I think I was pretty much used as like I had a car, so I could like get people to to band practice. After we played our first show, I got kicked out and I was like, okay, fuck this. I'm done. So I fucking, at that time, the Mosaic, I don't know if you ever heard of that place down near Donut Stop on 13th Street,
Yes.
but we, that place was not really active at the time. So like I reached out to the owner. I was like, I could probably start booking shows here, like, because I used to do shows there for a while and then they stopped for a long time. So I was a freshman in college. I just moved out of my parents' house into like these dorms. And I got a key to like, we did a show at the Commons, is what we started to call it.
Okay.
We did a show down there and we like sold out like a local show at like 150 people the first time we did it. So like that night they threw me a key. They're like, here you go, man. You can do shows anytime you want now. I was like, oh shit.
That's dope.
As a kid in college, that was like, I was like, oh my God, we have a crash pad to do literally whatever the fuck we want to do. So,
Right.
And it was like super cheap to rent out. We slipped them like $150 like every time we booked a show up there. And I put myself through like, a bunch of trial and error periods, dude, for like 3 or 4 years, like running that place, just like losing money, making a little bit of money, paying off like some, some bands that I owed money, and just kind of like staying afloat for that long time. But like also during that time period, meeting some of my lifelong friends, having bands stay over at my house and like having them call me at like 3 o'clock in the morning, some random February morning, be like, hey, we're going to come through and sleep on your floor for like 5 hours. Can you just let us inside? We're outside, So, I mean, I made a ton of really good connections during that time period. And then I graduated college and was like, fuck, I need to get like a real job. Like I can't be fucking around. I'm trying to like,
What degree do you have?
I got a degree in public relations and advertising, with a focus in analytics for public relations professionals. So I still do that I kind of work myself to death 95% of the time when COVID isn't kind of out here wrecking lives. I work a 9 to 5. I work from home, which is really convenient. And then I also do like all this stuff. So I'm pretty busy 95% of the time. That's besides the point though, like, you got to stay busy and pay your bills. So it's, it's kind of like a needed thing, being a promoter is such right now, like I'm hurting, not getting any of that cash, but it's like, that's why it's good to have, like a little bit of a safety net, when you're an independent promoter, man, one bad night can ruin your, whole entire like quarter, you know what I mean? So
I'm still at the grind era in mine. So I feel like I've saved money like since this happened.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Fuck, man.
Just cause I do a lot of...
when I was younger, man, I had no value or concept of cash. Like when we were when we made money off a show, it was like, holy shit, let's run next door and like spend it on Donut Stop for everybody. And then like go get some beer and weed and like, go back to the crib and just like hang out, that's pretty much how it was.
Right.
But, the grind days are still here, man. Like, I feel like we still, like fast forward to like present day, like I got hooked up with like, Third String Production, started doing shows again after I stopped for a while after I graduated college and worked like a desk job in Omaha. And I was like, fuck, man, I really hate this shit. Like I was miserable at my day job. I was like, I'm going to start booking shows again. So I hooked up with them, started booking a bunch of stuff. It went over really well. We decided to keep going with it. And with that, like emo night, they started doing them down in Texas. And I was like, seeing the videos and everything, I was like, yo, this looks like a lot of fun. I should like try to bring this to town. And we did, and it went really well. And we haven't really looked back since. And it's just kind of grown. And before all of this COVID shit was like going on, we were like at the point where we had sold out every show in February, and then we had the plans to expand into like 4 more markets east of St. Louis, which is where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
So It was it's still on a hot streak. Everything's going really well. You know, and it seems like I'm doing more emo night right now than I ever have before, which is great because it's such a great thing to be involved with. But I do I do from time to time miss booking shows. I feel like I don't get hit up a lot for it anymore because I feel like my focus has solely been on emo night. I feel like for like an entire year straight, and I feel like it's probably at the point where I can start to get back to booking some local concerts and stuff like that. So I'm excited, and it's been a hell of a couple of years, man. We've really seen a lot of growth over this last year and a half specifically, and you know we also throw in some you know, a throwback party concept. I saw some pictures rolling across the Facebook stream with that too. You know, the throwback party is something that we kind of put together as well. Third String kind of has like 3 different things that we do. We do concerts, obviously under the Third String umbrella, and then we have, you know, the emo night franchise that we have in Texas and here in the Midwest, and then we have Throwback Party, which is like a '90s hip hop, R&B, and pop party. Probably a little bit more pop leaning than hip hop. You know, it's mostly mainstream stuff, but it's a club party for like, you know, throwback music, what they've coined throwback music, and that's gone over really well too. We've had a lot of fun doing that, and we've taken that to quite a few cities as well. So that's kind of where I'm sitting, and that's kind of where I've been.
Man, you have really laid some fucking groundwork, and that's like kind of, I know I've hit you up in like with what I was doing, like with my April showers, and I was like, well, this is like not totally different, you know, just to kind of pick your brain if I was crazy or not, you know, because that's kind of the vibe I got when I like first did like my what was it called? The Midwest Meltdown, where I did 5 shows on the same night in 5 cities. Man, that was a blast, dude. I just love seeing these other communities shine and seeing like, you know, even by doing that, I've seen people that like did shows on that same night working together and collabing, and like it was, I mean, I don't know, I just really like the way you do. I like that you keep such a you're not just trying to like conquer one city. That's such a fucking stupid way to think. Like you really are thinking the Midwest as a whole and even bigger than that, and I just respect it, man.
Yeah, man, it's kind of a pain in the ass because all these cities are so fucking far away from each other. It kind of runs me dry driving back and forth and back and forth. But yeah, you're right, man. It's you know, I mean, I've certainly had my share of failures too, man. Like I've been doing this for a long time. Like I said, you know, I've definitely had my nights where I've been like, fuck, man, there's like 10 people here. This dumb as shit. Why the fuck do we do this? And then I've had those nights where like we sell out, you know, Fine Line in Minneapolis at 650, and we haven't, you know, we've never been to that city before, you know, so it's kind of you know, it comes in waves, dude, you know, and I still have those nights sometimes where it's like, man, we only got like 100 people in this like 750 cap right now. This is kind of shot, but like, you know, when those nights start to become few and far between, that's when all those nights are in the back of your mind. You're like, man, fuck that shit. This is awesome. I'm glad I kept going.
Absolutely.
It's interesting when things work. My mindset sometimes when things work, when I like, because there's things that should work that just fucking don't. So like when things are easy, I get confused. I'm like, I've had shows where I'm like, man, there's a lot of people here, and people be like, yeah, man, like you did a good job promoting. I'd be like, but why? Why are they here? Like they don't have nothing else to do. Like why this work? You know, like compared to last time. And do you ever catch yourself just like over analyzing, and especially since you went to school for like analytics, like do you catch yourself like thinking you have it figured out and then just having something turned on its head?
Oh, absolutely, dude. I mean, it's like, I mean, that's kind of the crux of being a promoter, is like you're never really sure unless that ticket is sold. You know what I mean? Like you could hope for a good walk up the entire night, but unless that ticket's sold, you're always going to have that deep seated, you know, doubt in the back of your head that like this is going to go bad. You know what I mean? So yeah, dude, I feel like it's I don't know. I feel like I get into a lot more trouble when like things are going a lot better because I have more time to like dick around in like the green room and shit. Like, you know, it's like it's crazy. Like we usually travel around in like a pretty tight crew. It's like 4 or 5 of us. We pack in like the Suburban each weekend and, you know, hit the fucking road. So it's like, you know, you're on tour fucking, you know, getting a couple bottles of booze every night at the venue and, you know, doing all this shit, you know. I mean, it's like it's a lot you know, especially when you don't have anything to worry about. It's like you're worry free, so you just like let go and have fun.
Right.
But you know, I think it's always fun to kind of get leveled out. You know, sometimes like, man, I really need to get back to work. You know, there's not very many that many people here. Like, I need to like start focusing up again. And you know, I think it's good to have one of those nights every once in a while. But I think every promoter should have a deep sense of deeply sewed sense of like, you know, a sense of doubt somewhere down there, so it doesn't
Always.
ruin your pocketbook. You know, stay based.
Absolutely. Now we kind of talked about the guy who like you took over his company, but was that who inspired you to be a promoter or to get into booking shows, or was it more just you liked what you seen from a lot of things?
Dude, I don't know. That's actually a good question. I mean, like I mean, I don't know. I never played. My mom never encouraged me to play like an instrument. They brought me a guitar once or twice. But I really wanted to play drums, and my mom never let me play drums. So I was like, fuck this. I don't want to do this whole music thing. So I think I always had like an affinity for like the back end of like music, of like what made things like tick, you know, like whether if it was like PR and marketing behind like a campaign for like a single or something, or it was like being a promoter. The promoter thing really spoke to me. So I kind of took that route. But like the kid that I grew up kind of like watching was a terrible example. His name was Justin Tweedy. He was the lead singer of Belleth for a long time. I don't know if you know who that band is or not.
His name
But
actually sounds familiar, but
yeah, Justin. He also fought MMA here in Omaha for a while, or in Omaha for a while. I guess I'm not there right now, so I can't say that. But he, yeah, he was a good dude, but he was not like the best with agents and stuff. I mean, agents would like hit me up for his money. He's like, "Yo, do you know where he is?" I'm like, "No, fuck, man, I have no idea where that motherfucker is. He like moved." So he wasn't like the best mentor for me, but like what the cool thing was, like he's like, and what I kind of learned with like some of the promoters, this was such a weird practice, and I can't believe I've never talked about this before, but like commonplace back then like was to kind of like share what intel you had. And I was at the point where I had made, you know, a lot of good relationships, you know, turn into, you know, promoter relationships turn into friendships. So what we would do is we would share each other's like emails with each other. Like I would shoot like my email address off to someone, and I would give them my password, like, "Yo, just go through my email, look at all the offers I have. If you can scrape anything off of it, like take it." And that's what we kind of did. There was like a collective of us that just kind of like monitored like monitored each other's email, which was like really weird, but like in a sense it made us like all kind of like you know, learn from each other. So like that was kind of like my collective. It was my friend Ryan from Wichita. He booked hardcore shows for a really long time. Then I had a friend from Des Moines, and I had a friend from Kansas City as well. So it was like, you know, we were all like kind of learning together, progressing through, and like going through all of these like really important like milestones together, like selling out you know, our first shows, and like upgrading to like 450 caps and 500 caps from like 100 caps. Like it was a weird ass process, but like we had like this really cool collective where we could like kind of lean on each other. And that's really where I learned the most, was just like how to interact with people within, you know, specific industries, and you know what you know what my peers were doing, and what, you know, what those interactions looked like. I think we all really just kind of like thrived off each other.
Dude, so you're telling me that communication and working with people and treating them decent can lead to like big things happening?
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy concept, dude, and that's why I was so that's why I was so glad that I grew up in the hardcore scene, where that was like something that was like already commonplace. You know, the hardcore and like metalcore communities, and those virtues and values that those communities hold are like really conducive to like, you know, breeding really good friendships. You know what I mean? Like really loyal. They're really prone to like breeding loyal people. You know, so it was really easy to trust people outside of outside of my city that I'd never met before, because like, oh, you book these bands, we're in the same boat, let's just exchange emails and passwords. You know, like that was the level of trust that was there. Now I would never fucking do that. Like, are you kidding me? No way. But
Right.
when we were kids, that was how we learned.
Damn, I was wondering why I haven't got your password yet, but it's all good, dude. We can talk about it.
I mean, yeah, if you want to pay me for it.
So what would you say, tell what was your biggest so far in your promotion, you know, being a promoter career? What what is your biggest success and what is your biggest failure?
Man, I don't know. Failures, I could think of a million because I feel like I judge those much more harshly. I think where I felt the low, I probably have two big failures. I remember I was really eager to like expand our throwback party into Lincoln, and we did it at the Royal Grove, and it just did not do well. It was like the only place that we've ever taken one of our parties that did less than 50 people paid, and that was like the biggest gut punch of all time. And then we had a throwback party that we sold out in Des Moines that was like a huge low point because like I hired this DJ. This was like back when I first started throwing this party, and like I hired this DJ and he was the worst. He cleared out the room by like 11:45. It was probably the most pathetic point in my career. I cried when I got back to the hotel room that night. I was like, fuck, man, we just lost so much money. Oh man, that shit sucked. But high points, man, I don't know. I think one of my high points definitely came this year. We did this February was crazy. We did like seven sold out shows in a row pretty much. We did, and one weekend, the first weekend that we were out, we did Fine Line in Minneapolis, which is owned by First Ave, which is like one of the most iconic venues in like all of America. So it was like really cool to like be there, you know, being booked by that company and like selling the show out pre-sale. And the show popped off. It was like I think it was like 5 of us. It was the best time of my life. Like we hopped in the fucking van, we left, we sold out 2 shows that weekend. We drove like 27 hours like all the way across like the Midwest, and like we made a bunch of fucking money, which was dope. And we stayed at some really cool places. We met some really cool people, and like I have like there's so many points of that weekend that I can just be like, yo, like, do you remember when we did that dumb shit in Minneapolis? Or like that's like I've always really wanted to like be in a band and like go on tour, whether it be like a tour manager or like you know, performing or like whatever. So it's like crazy that it's happening when I'm like 28 now, like packing out like these rooms, like having all these memories that we can like hang back on. Like it's what I've wanted for so long, and it feels so good to like have it all be there. And I think that weekend was like, it was a real like kick in the balls. It's like, holy shit, man, like we're doing this across the Midwest like consistently now. This is crazy.
Right.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Watch it, like listening to you talk, like you definitely like, you're younger than me, but like you've been doing this longer, but like we definitely enjoy like the same elements of this shit. And I can just feel like when you talk, like it riles me the fuck up, dude. Like I want to just go book shows. I just want to keep growing with everybody. The things that like being on the road like that, I've always thought that'd be a blast too. And when this shit happened, I was on like day 7 of 10 on the road, like with like some pretty big names. I was having a blast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna happen again. We'll be back out there, but to the people out there that just like constantly think like a promoter is a piece of shit and a manager's the dumbest thing ever and this and that. Let me introduce you to myself and Austin Gaule, and let's see if you can match our energy and work ethic and the people that respect us, because it's not just fucking knowing how to talk. We work and we love it, and you can fucking, if you can't hear it in this man's voice how much he gives a fuck about bringing people together and creating a good time, a safe good time for everybody. I mean, this is what you have, people. So sorry, I just wanted to, this is a different level. Like there are shitty promoters, there are people that do things for the wrong reasons, and it's okay to fucking make money. It's okay to want to make money because we do a good job and we give a fuck. So
yeah, I think for me, for the longest time, dude, it wasn't about making money. It was just about breaking even, you know. And like I think that was like, it was the wrong mindset to have, you know, because like I wasn't able to pay anybody. I wasn't able to pay myself. I was running myself into the ground, not making money. So it's like, it's such a frowned upon thing, especially when I was a kid. It's like, oh, you're making money off shows. It's like, oh, should I not be doing that? And like, okay, well, I mean, I guess I'll just stop then, you know. And like, it took me a long time to figure out that like making money wasn't like a bad thing, you know. And the people that have stuck around, you know, I've booked the same bands in Omaha for fucking 15 years almost. You know, all of the musicians here have remained the same, and a few of them have gone on, you know, and gotten out of Omaha. You know, but the ones that are left are, you know, they're still here, and I still have a good relationship with a lot of them, you know. And like, this is where like all of that work that, you know, that we put in as kids, you know, like selling those tickets not making shit off of anything. This is like where we are now, where I can like start paying people and like everybody gets their fucking fair share now, and like everybody's like thriving together.
Right. And that's something that there's certain things that I've like moves that I've made that probably there's people that roll their eyes, because I do have to make money. I have to sustain myself. I have to be able to keep bringing that energy. I got to be able to pay people. Yeah. I got to be able to have the right equipment to put on the right stage shows. Because I do, I manage the artist side of things too, and
absolutely.
But I've ran into that a lot, to where it's like people like roll their eyes at the thought of like, that I shouldn't make money. And luckily I don't, so I haven't had to deal with that yet, but I fucking plan on it. And my whole first year as a company was just to show how I do it different, and I'm not losing money, and I want artists to get paid. And like I've had people like where they say they want to work with me, and maybe you've had this happen too. And then they come and they're part of the show or whatever. It's a fucking tremendous show. And then afterwards they're like, man, that was the best show crowd I've ever performed in front of. How do I rent out this venue and do a show here? I'm just like, I mean, I had something to do with, and me and my company and like all these people that are working, you see running around, like this is like, we're providing something too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. I think overall it's just about, proving what you're worth to your own community. You know what I mean? Like providing and like supporting the communities. I mean, and this is why I've started bringing bands, where I can to emo night, because, I just don't want to throw like a party that's just about DJs. I want like local bands and like regional bands to like get their shot too. It's like, oh, we're going to fill a venue with like 600 people here. Let's like add some local bands so they can get some exposure too and pay them for their time. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's a real good feeling to be out of like my DIY phase as like a kid, where I was like drawing 10 people to a show and like, yo, man, I can't pay you. Sorry. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Right. It's good to like give people the opportunity to like be compensated fairly for like, the work that they're doing, and I'm always really fair. You know what I mean? Like if you put in work for a show, you sell tickets, I will keep coming back to you. I will give you every chance for exposure, on big shows as I can, and I'll pay you for it. Just keep doing your part. And, if you want to make this a good relationship, it's a give and take game at this point,
Absolutely. I like the way you think, Austin. I like the way you do things. I like that you have a successful platform and then you returned it back to involving local musicians and bands. I think that's like just extremely respectable and commendable, because you didn't have to do that, but it isn't the dumbest thing ever too, because it's smart. These people that are out there, if you can tie in these local bands, there are some local legends out there. There's some people out there that can do a lot, and move a lot. Not that they're just there to move tickets, but there can be a give and take with a hot band that can fit into your emo night format.
Oh yeah, absolutely, dude. I mean, it's all about, like I said, you'll never know what's going to happen at emo night. So some nights, we've had plans, to kind of just like throw cash at things and just like make the experience better for people, and just like taking a little bit less like profit on our side so we can provide a better experience. You know what I mean? Right. Like there was things in the works for this year that we were going to do that we're going to add, a couple $100 onto like expenses, but just like, for the sake of like the customer and like for the sake of like giving back to the community that like literally keeps us going. Like it's those monetary like investments they're so easy to kind of give up, because like one, that money will probably come back anyway. And two, like creating moments for people, and I think of that right now, especially since we're going through like all of like this shutdown shit, but like creating moments for people is like what the industry that we're in, you know what I mean? It's like creating like those moments of like meeting an artist or like being on stage at emo night and like rocking out with like your favorite like emo artist from yesteryear, or, coming out to a show at Lookout Lounge and getting like a taste of hip hop, like up close and fucking personal with like 100 other people in the room. Like those are like the moments that people really want, and it's crazy that I've been almost 2 months now after like 4 solid years straight of like creating those moments of not having anything. Right. So I think it's crazy to think about now, man.
So, one more question before we get into the juicy stuff that people are probably wanting to hear us talk about. Why don't you just go ahead and like just kind of tell me what you do personally to like keep from getting burnt out? Not only just like as a promoter, but I think that can relate to the rappers, to the people in bands, to anyone that like obsesses over like the success and the greatness of their creativity and the things that they're building.
Yeah, dude. I mean, man, personal things I do to keep from getting burnt out. Like I've rediscovered my passion for like running. Like I really like to run. So like I've been over quarantine. I bought like a new pair of running shoes. My grandpa has like this really dope house like out in like the middle of fucking nowhere, central Illinois, and he's got some nature trails. So I've been running those all the time. You know, I think when I get back into like into the swing of things for work, I'll definitely be running a lot more because I feel like it keeps me really stress free. But you know, like traveling has always been something that I like to do. It's always been really therapeutic, and I get to travel for work too, so it's kind of nice. You know, I usually I'll build in like a couple day trip into like most of our weekends. So it's like, hey, we're going to Milwaukee and Minneapolis this weekend. Let's go 2 days early, spend a couple days in the city and like see some friends or something. So, you know, trying to keep things lights on trips for me is something that I really have to do. But then when I get home, I just like to like chill out, hang out with my dog. You know, like those are like, I like the simple things that like, you know, to keep me from getting like burnt out. Like I think this industry like really burns you out all the time. So it's hard to find one specific thing to keep me like not being on the edge 24/7 and being burnt out, because it's a lot of work, dude. You know, I mean, throwing parties and like booking shows is like you're at the will of other people's time. So if you have to take a call, you have to take a call. And, you know, if you need to get like a fucking thing booked and like the people you're running around with, excuse me, sorry, I've drank so much fucking Jameson tonight. If the people you're running around trying to catch like don't have time, like you have to be at the mercy, you know, to set everything you're doing down and just like have that call. So sometimes I feel like I don't have a break ever because I work almost every fucking day. So like quarantine has been really nice, man. I haven't really had to like take a bunch of calls, and like I've been kind of like centering myself back out. But like I think the one big thing that keeps me from getting burnt out is just like kind of like realizing that like everything's not the end of the world. Because I think when I was a young promoter, I think one thing would really just set me off, you know, like one bad show would just be like, fuck, I'm gonna throw in the towel on all of this shit. Like I can't fucking do this, you know, especially when you're at your lowest, man. I remember when I was like fucking 18 years old, or no, I was like 19 or 20, I can't remember. I booked like this really big package at Sokol Underground, and I worked like a couple jobs like through college to like help promote, you know, help support like when a show would like tank. But I was really at the mercy of like, you know, if shows doing well, if they didn't, I would lose. And I remember this one summer, I just got hit back to back, and like I lost like a good $2,500 on shows this one summer. And $2,500 back then, like, and still now, $2,500 is a pretty good chunk of change, but like $2,500 back then was like a monumental blow to my life. I was like, holy shit, my savings is gone. Holy shit, everything that I have is just done. So like, I mean, I think at that time I let all that shit just get so far down my fucking head. It was like, I'm not worth it. This is never going to happen for me. It's like, I just started realizing like, yo, this isn't going to make or break me. You know, like these agents are still going to hit me up for shows. I'm still going to have opportunities to do shit, you know, and just kind of taking one thing at a time, man. I learned to really slow down and just like not freak myself out, you know, because I'm someone who gets burnt out super easy. So it's been like, it's taken me like 12 years to figure it out, but I think I'm finally there. I think I finally know how to manage myself.
Found your balance. That's I think you were definitely in a fucking stride before this, and even with like before like Corona, like you did. Like I remember going into work one night and like it was like I was like, oh, Austin's here, and I was like, this is an Austin show, and I was like, oh yeah, he does that too. Like, you know, and I was like, it was just good to see like in your natural like, you know, like setting, you know, like it's. I look forward to seeing you get back to booking local shows and bringing packages, and you know, I want to work with you. I think you do things the right way. I think I can learn a lot from you. Shout out to your team, by the way. The show we did, Cypher Night, they were fucking wonderful. I love Bree. I can't remember the young man's name that was there that night. but he was awesome.
Yeah, Tommy.
Tommy was awesome
Yeah,
too.
Tommy's the man.
I really like
Tommy actually tours, dude. He tours with this. Shout out Tommy. I don't know. I told him I was doing this. He may or may not be listening, but he tours with this like really serious act called Grandson.
Okay.
They're like they were gonna do a bunch of fucking shit with like A Day to Remember and Blink 182 this year, and I'm really bummed that they're not doing it, so he doesn't get to go out with them anymore. But
Yeah.
Tommy's a fucking legend, dude. He's my favorite employee and the most favorite. I've been working with him since the Commons days. I've been working with him for almost 10 years now. So
That's awesome. It's
he's
fun.
the best.
It's fun to watch our friends kind of grow into giants and grow along
Oh yeah,
with them.
it's insane because he has this tour schedule, and like in between all that he'll come and like he has this Suburban, like the big fucking like van that we take everywhere.
Mhm.
So like when he's home, I'm like, oh my god, we're going on fucking road trips, let's go. Like it's always so much fun when he comes home and has time to do shit with us.
Shout out to Tommy. Shout out to the waiting room. Shout out
Yeah.
to the other promoters out there, or people that are, artists or in bands that want to get more into the do-it-yourself and booking shows. What I always tell people, like, it's like, don't feel like you have to, like, go fuck with someone else because you don't like me. The do-it-yourself scene is pretty awesome. So if you have any questions, like, I encourage people to hit me up and try to do it yourself. If you don't think if you don't want to do it with Nice Enough or whatever, I don't know why I brought that up, but I know we have a lot of people out there that want to do a little bit of everything, and I would be wrong to discourage them.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I think it's a common misconception that we both have a lot of stuff going on. Like, you can reach out to me via Messenger any fucking time. I'll take your message. I give people advice all the time. I'm a naturally like chatty person, dude. So if I feel like I should be from Boston because I never shut up, and I feel like if I was from Boston, I would just throw on the accent. You wouldn't know any fucking different because I talk so much. So please message me any fucking time.
Right. Man, one of these days we're gonna have to get Jay Influential involved in emo night, man. I think it'd be a good fit.
So,
Dude, yeah, man. I feel like the schedule is so far booked out that we should definitely talk about it.
For sure.
Get it on deck for some time.
That kid's killing shit right now, man. He works hard. Even with all this shit, he still calls me every day. He's out. He's learning how to shoot videos. He's just adjusting. And today I talked to him. And he's like, man, shows might not be back this year. And I'm like, all we can do is keep adjusting and keep trying to keep people safe. So leading to that, Leia said, "When is emo night coming back for my poor soul?" So let's not just do a general question like that. Let's do this responsibly. How you feeling about things, man? With them talking about reopening and like, where's your mind at? Because I'm gonna I don't follow anybody's lead, but I pay attention to people I respect and how they do things. So you better believe I'm gonna be watching you, my friend.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's been crazy because I mean, like I've mentioned a couple times, we were on like a streak. Like, we had a bunch of really good runs of shows in February. So when all this shit hit, I was just like, fuck, man, because we had a really good year planned out, and like we had summer plans up the wazoo. I had spent a lot of money like on guests and stuff. I mean, like, our summer was solidified, and I was cocked and ready to I was ready to go. So yeah, it fucking blows. I don't really know, man. Like, I don't think it's any. I think if you like are friends with me on Facebook, it's not really any secret. I lean pretty liberal in my political leanings. I'm definitely of the opinion that social distancing is going to save a shitload of lives, and I'm very much of the opinion that stuff is not being handled well here in the States, and more specifically, it's not being handled well in Nebraska. I made the decision to leave town for a while because of that. I am deathly afraid of dying, and deathly afraid of dying. That doesn't really work, but I just don't fuck with pandemics, man. I don't fuck with potentially losing my life to some shit that doesn't that it's not like my destiny, you know. Like, I don't think my destiny is to die of COVID. So like, I'm taking this really seriously, and I'm taking it really seriously for my customers as well. But I chose to leave Omaha for a while because I thought our governor was doing a terrible job. I'm currently staying at my grandpa's house. He's staying in Ohio, so I have this nice big house. My girlfriend and I are just staying here. And I don't know, man. I'm pretty bummed out. I don't really think anybody has a real firm grip on when things are going to start coming back. I know touring probably for this year is not going to be like something that's going to happen. I think it's a little irresponsible to be talking about doing shows in May, and I'm not going to really like expand further on that. But I think it's just like we don't need to be like going against CDC rules that are in place, you know. And I know they're only till like the first. Excuse me. I know they're only till like the first week of May, but I think it's really important that you know if we really care about getting back to what we were doing before, and we really care about getting back in full, and getting people back on the road, every state has to do their job. All of these states are at different points in their in their fight against COVID right now. So it's really hard to be like, yeah, touring's going to be back. I think gradually what's going to happen is a lot of these cities are going to start lifting their own restrictions. Every state and city is going to have different restrictions. And I think you'll see club shows start to return before just about anything else. I think club shows will probably, if I am a betting man, and I'm betting this for my wallet because I need to start making money again, but I'm hoping July or August, but I think that's still a little far off, and what that'll look like when they start opening up clubs for people to come back. It's going to be a lot different than what it was before. They're not going to right away. They're not going to have 500, 600 people shoved into a tiny room. It's not going to be like that. It's not a reality. You're going to see restriction caps across the board. I think you'll see, especially in our hometown, I think you'll see shows limited probably to 250 people or less, which, is better than nothing. But, I think, and I've had conversations with somebody I really respect this week, Mark Leibowitz from 1%. And I think he had a really good insight to playing it safe, but also realizing that we have the not the opportunity, but we have the duty to entertain people. You know what I mean? And if there is a need for the entertainment, we have to provide it, but we have to do it in the sense of what's best for our customers, and what people feel safe with and what our employees feel safe with. So I think that's really kind of where I'm in. I'm very much of the opinion of following state guidelines and national guidelines, even though they're set by people that I absolutely do not respect, such as Governor Ricketts and, President Mr. Fuckhead. I think there's a lot of good things that are happening across the board in public service right now that are trying to keep people safe. And I think it's just weeding through all the crap that's put out there, and kind of making an opinion for yourself, what's safe or not. I think it's really up to promoters to have the best interest of their audience in mind, and really keeping in mind that if you throw a show right now, you are putting people's lives at risk, and that is purely the way that you should look at it. There's no other way around it. You can't expect things to 100% go off without a hitch, because you have no idea where those people have been the 24 hours prior, the 48 hours prior, the 2 weeks prior. They could be carrying, the virus for almost 2 weeks without even knowing or having any symptoms. So I think that's kind of where I'm at, man. I don't want to come out of the shadows before it's safe, and I'm, and as I love making money and I love being on the road, but my life is far more valuable than doing this stuff right now, because we can come back. We will come back. It's just a matter of time. It's a matter of doing it at the right time when authority when authority says so. And authority is, I think people get really upset by that too, because, I hate cops. Like I hate authority of all kinds, man. I have respect for authority in these situations, because I feel like, a lot of these really good public servants, in our federal government do have our best interest at mind, and they do want to save lives, and they do want everyone to be safe. So
I'm definitely on the same page, even to the point to where, like, one of my biggest fears. So me and you we didn't have an altercation, but we had like a moment of truth during a frustrating, weird time, to where you spoke out. It did involve, you know, what you were like, you know, if the shoe fits, the shoe fucking fit 100%. And we have friends that keep it so real. Shout out to people like that literally just brought the conversation right fucking there, that tagged me in it. I can't remember who it was, but I love it. Fuck it. Let's talk about it. You know what I mean? Especially with things that I love and with people that I respect. Man.
Yeah, man. I think these communities have to keep each other honest. You know what I mean? And it's not, you know, I think this is such unprecedented times that it's okay to stick to your convictions, and even if they are, you know, worded harshly, and if they are, you know, and if they do have a little bit of like, hey man, you need to open up your eyes here and look at it, you know. And it's not, that wasn't just to you, and it wasn't just anybody specifically, but it's like, hey guys, like, holy shit,
no, absolutely,
like we have to fucking look at this, and we have to really examine it, you know. I mean, people's lives are at stake, you know, that's the urgency that I put to, you know, all my friends. You know, I still challenge all of my friends right now that I talk to at home, you know, that are hanging out with their homies. I'm like, please, dude, please stop. Like, please just stay home. And like, you know, like, I think you're stupid for hanging out with your friends right now. You know what I mean? Like, just fucking stay home, you know? It's okay to be honest with people.
I had the biggest fear during that time, and me and you know, we hadn't talked or anything. You didn't really know what I had going on. But like I said, I was in, like, that Wednesday I had head PE, that where all this went down. And I think you actually posted that on a Sunday. Well, that Wednesday I was in Sioux Falls for head PE. Thursday, Mac Lethal, Sioux Falls. Friday I was back in Omaha for like a local legend. And at that point I'm not stupid. You know what I mean? I'm watching the news and I don't know what the fuck to do, Austin. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm scared. I'm like, when I was in Sioux Falls with Mac Lethal, you know, we got a picture of us that we shared on the internet where I'm like hugging him. We both look homeless. And I'm like, I don't want that picture on CNN with fucking trails going around. It's like, and then Mac Lethal went here and Strawstone went here, and being like, you know, so these are fears I had before I ever read that post or before anyone really made me digest. I just didn't have a chance. You know what I mean? Emotionally, mentally,
dude. I mean, I mean, I think we all like learn. I don't know about you, but I learned a lot in this situation too. It's like, you know, like we were faced with like the same situation. You know, we had shows lined up for, we still are I mean, you know, and as you know, we're still canceling shows, you know. I mean, we had a show that Friday before all that shit went down, and we were all just like, dude, what the fuck do we do? And I was like, it finally just clicked with me. I was like, yo, we have to fucking cancel. This is like a no-brainer. Like, what are we doing? Why have we waited so long to do this? You know, and that's the thing, dude. Like, you never know what to do because you always want to be looking out for your pocketbook. I mean, at that time I was like, fuck, dude, I don't know when the next time I'm going to be able to throw a show is. Do I need to just like do this show so I can fill my pocket? And like, I snap back. I'm like, that is a terrible way to look at things. You know what I mean? Like there could be a bunch of people like that are infected that even one person comes, 10 more people get infected. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the way it fucking works with this virus. And it's, you know, I think we all learned a lot, dude. I learned a lot about crisis situations, you know, the last, you know, that 2-week period leading up to there. I mean, I didn't have a whole lot going on, but it was like making contingency plans, like getting things lined up, you know, trying to figure out what I'm going to do for money for the next couple months. I mean, I'm sure you're in the same situation. I mean, it was a do or die situation where you're holding on to like a string and you don't want to let go because it's going to like ruin a whole bunch of shit for you, you know?
Right. And to me, it was just like, you know, and that's, you know, as much as like people might think I'm full of shit, but like I really haven't seen a monetary gain from anything I've done promoting wise, and it's kind of because I have the wrong mindset. I'm starting to get the right mindset to where I can, you know, get what I'm worth and be able to pay people properly. It greases everything. It's better for everything if you look at things realistically.
Absolutely.
But mine was all about momentum, man. The fact that I was on fucking tour with one of my favorite people, someone I love, opening up for Mac Lethal, and these kids are fucking, everything's grooving. We would have had Doobie in June, you know what I mean? It was just so much to like, because like these kids have like followed me since Aorta Hip Hop, you know, and like we really believe in what we're doing and how we do it, and that was just one of the things, man, to where I was just like, and then like, you know, to be like I had to like really reflect, because I'm like, of course I'm gonna make the right decision. Of course, that's me. I always care about people. Well, I wasn't, and I wasn't thinking properly, and I still probably would have finished out my like weekend like I did, especially, you know, now knowing now that it worked out. But man, I hope I never am in a situation like that again. And how weird. I know everyone had to deal with it, but like that Sunday, every time I announced a guest, I would have to I would watch for 5 minutes and then I would duck out to the car, man, and I would bawl like a baby because I just knew I wasn't gonna get to be that for people for a long time again, and it hurt.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it sucks, dude. Like I said, we were coming off like the best stretch of shows that we ever did.
Killing shit, yeah.
I mean,
you can relate.
It was a gut punch, dude. I mean, like me and my girlfriend have been quarantined here in central Illinois for like a month now, and we've been on lockdown for like 2, like it's kind of crazy not having like that release and trying to find like other ways to kind of like, kind of get yourself through the day, man. Like those trips were really therapeutic for a number of reasons, but they were really good for like our entire like team. We were all friends. Like that's what we did on the weekends. We did emo night, like it's just hard not having it, and it's hard being away from everybody, and it's really scary financially, and like I mean if this goes on much longer than August, dude, it's gonna be really tough for a lot of fucking people. I think we're gonna, if we go much longer than August, I think Omaha is going to be in a really hard spot in terms of like who's going to be open, who's going to be able to survive without being open for that long. Right. I mean I'm already worried. It's going to get it's going to get dicey, man. So I mean I explained it, I've been explaining it to people. It's like, this is like 9/11, but like 10 times worse, dude. Like, I mean, not in terms of like, what this means for like individual people's lives, but like this all around for like the economy is not going to be something that we're going to come back from right away, dude. But I mean, this is where entertainment thrives, dude. When in hard times of financial stress and, really, people not having jobs and shit, entertainment always thrives. Right. So I'm looking forward to getting back and doing, what I can to help, keep people entertained through these next couple of years, and, getting ready for the long haul, because it's going to be a fucking fight the next couple of years.
Absolutely. You know what? I think I'm going to tie things up. I would love to have you on. Maybe like I'm gonna hit you up and just kind of, while we're figuring things out, maybe we could do like a weekly 15 minutes or some shit where I just, we check in with each other and we talk about, just what you're up to with your company. Because I think you just have I think you just drop so many gems on people, and even if it is just conversational and it's perspective, one of my favorite lines is, talk is cheap but conversation is hella valuable. And I think there is a lot here to pick up. I'm going to be communicating with you a lot when it comes to what I do as far as shows. I consider you an ally and somebody I respect a lot. And I just really appreciate you taking your time and being so generous with it tonight.
Dude, yeah, man, I consider you a friend, dude. I mean, it's a fucking hard time out here for independent promoters, so everybody's got to stick together. So always happy to chat, always happy to do a show, and always happy to support people that are doing some real shit, whatever community they're in.
Absolutely. Hey, and if you have guest ideas too, man, I would love to.
Dude, fuck yeah, man.
Have some people that can, when emo nights are back, dude. We need to make.
Dude,
sure.
Yeah, dude, you guys gotta come check out his show.
We're going to.
I think you'll get a kick out of it, man. It's a good time.
I'm gonna have a blast. I can tell. Stream. And that's the thing. That's maybe why I haven't come yet, because I don't let myself have fun yet. Okay, I'll let you know when I'm doing it.
Yeah, it's Yeah, man, you'll have to come check it out for sure. When this is all over, we'll get you some tickets.
I have like a whole fucking another list of questions and things I want to ask you, but we have Tanner Lee still that we're gonna interview tonight. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna end this episode. That way we can keep things cataloged correctly, because this goes up to YouTube. Shout out to our YouTube viewership. Yeah, it is pretty strong. So yeah, we're I think this was a great interview.
Me too.
I know, Kayla. Thank you for your one question. I know we just kind of bullshitted the whole time, but
well, I mean, I kind of figured it would be a little bit like that, because I mean, you guys are like-minded, you have things in common, and I'm just a pretty rapper, so
just you're way more than that.
But, dude, well, thank you for the two of you, for real, for having me on. This was great. It's always good to especially during this time of quarantine, it's really good to be able to see some people's faces and feel like I can get a couple hours worth of talking out and be good on social interaction here for another couple of days.
There you go, man. I really appreciate you coming on, and thank you for rescheduling us so quick. And we're gonna go ahead and end it now, but make sure you guys go and check this out on the YouTubes. Yep. Peace out.
Hell yeah! Thanks a lot, Justin.
Later,
bye.
Bro. Later, Kayla.
Hey.
that was Austin Gaule.
That was Austin Gaule
of Third String Promotions or Productions. Midwest, he does all the emo nights. He's an awesome guy.
Whoop.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in about 20 minutes with Tanner Lee.
All right. Bye, guys.